welcome back to my channel, welcome back to Veda. Thank you so much for watching. So for today I thought it would be really cool to talk about what's going on at the moment. I don't know if you guys are watching the news, but over the weekend North Korea had their failed missile launch, or as some media outlets are calling it, a mock missile launch. And so basically they fired a missile towards South Korea, I'm guessing, and it failed. And so it was kind of seen as a threat. And last week, or this week, I don't know, whenever, the Vice President of the United States was in South Korea doing a state visit, and he basically said, I'm summarizing what he said. He said, North Korea, if you come for South Korea, the US is gonna come for you. Okay, we are ready for you. So basically I keep my eye on the news, and I try to keep my ear out for what's going on around me, but I haven't been hearing anything from my co-workers or anyone really. The Office of Education, my coordinator, I haven't been hearing anything about war from them. So for me, I was just like, another day in Korea, another rumor of war, because that's literally how it is. Like, it feels like every time the wind blows a certain kind of way, North Korea gets upset and they say, we're gonna obliterate you, and South Korea's like, we're ready for you. And so I wasn't paying attention to any of it. So there's been rumors of war, and obviously this is not the first time since me being in Korea that there have been rumors of war. But on Sunday, okay, I met a South African girl at church, and it was my first time meeting her, and she was like, oh my goodness, what are you gonna do if there's a war? And I was like, I don't know, but girl, there's not gonna be a war. Like, this happens all the time. Like, girl, this happens all the time. She's like, no, seriously. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I keep my eye on the news, of course, and the embassy's website, and I'm out here in these streets, but for me it's like nothing new, and she's only been here for a month, so for her she's like freaking out, like, whoa, oh my goodness. So she actually said, you only appreciate your country when you leave. She's like, I've never been this patriotic about my country ever. And so yeah, it's true, you only appreciate your country when you're no longer there. But nonetheless, I digress. So that really made me think. I was like, oh. So I was going on these foreigner groups and on Facebook, and I was seeing so much mass hysteria. I was like, oh my goodness. And some people were like, oh, it's the first time in a long time that this is actually now a real threat and things are about to go down. And I was like, okay. The embassy kind of sent us a warning, not really a warning, but just like, if you want to travel to Korea, you can travel to Korea. If you don't want to travel to Korea, it's on you. But for now, we don't have any news on the state on the Korean peninsula, on the state of the Korean peninsula. Okay. So on Monday, I was like, let me just talk to my co-workers and find out what the heck is going on, and are they going to tell me or are they not going to tell me? Because there's this thing called, we call it as foreigners, the Korean surprise, and basically it's just stuff that gets springed on you, like, hey, we're going out to dinner tonight, you have to be there. Hey, there's an important event tonight, you have to be there. Hey, there's just surprises all the time. So I was like, is this going to be one of those times where you guys are going to be like, hey, there's a war, we need to leave the country, like, like, tell me. So I spoke to my co-teacher. I was like, hey, all this mass hysteria is going on all these groups. Look at all these people, foreigners are losing their mind, they're about to pack their things and go. What is going on about this war? And so my co-teacher and the art teacher were laughing their heads off. Like, I felt so stupid because they were just like, really? People are worried? why? I was like, y'all aren't worried? They're like, no. They're like, no. The art teacher was like, I have children and I'm not even worried. Like, there's not going to be a war. They always say there's going to be a war, but there's not going to be a war. And I was like, okay, thanks. They were so shocked that people were worried. They were so shocked that the news, the Western media always blows it out of proportion so much. And they were just so shocked. They were like, no, like, this is crazy. There's not going to be a war. So what I want to just talk about is what it feels like living in a country that you don't really know what's going on. Because there's the Western media that's like blowing things out of proportion, and in Korea it's basically just like on the sidelines, like, oh, by the way, we were threatened with war again from North Korea. So it's weird. It's so weird. It's like super weird. No one really actually knows what's gonna happen. No one really actually knows what's going on. And out here in these streets, no one really cares. It's so crazy to me, because I was thinking, like, if a country is preparing for war, there's certain things you do, certain drills you do, you know, you inform people what to do in case of emergencies, etc. None of that is happening. People are just living their lives out here in these streets. And obviously it's a serious thing, like, it's not something to poke fun at or make light of. So that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to say, out here in these streets, ain't nobody that's Korean that's running around hoarding food or worried about a war. On the weekend I was taking the bus back and forth, and Korea's like has mandatory compulsory military duty for males, and I was kind of keeping it. I was like, okay, let me see if the soldiers are taking off for the weekend. Girl, there were soldiers taking off for the weekend, chilling, having a good time. So no one has been called in. I guess on the weekend they were chilling hard. So I guess that just shows you, like, the attitude of the people towards all these threats and how Korean people really feel about it. But we're just living. We're going another day, another threat. We're just going on with our lives out here in these streets. We have kids that we're trying to educate, and we're just living our lives. It's the weirdest thing. It's so weird. Because when I go online and I go to the foreigner groups, it's like people are panicking, people are registering with their embassies, people are preparing exit plans and making exit stashes, like a bag, you know, an emergency bag they can grab in case something happens. And the Koreans out here, they're just, we had cake today, such good cake. I'm gonna put in maybe a clip of the cake that we had. It was so good. We were chilling. We were having a good time. We had a seminar on sexual harassment in the workplace. We did not have a seminar on what to do in case a war breaks out. So it's amazing to me. It's really, really amazing to me. At the end of the day, I mean, I can only prepare myself to a certain extent. And be ready to maybe leave, but these people are not worried about war. Korean people in general, I haven't heard a pipsqueak out of anyone about it. They're looking forward to the elections coming up and all of that, but they're not worried about a war. So yeah, that's my Veda for today, just talking about what it's like living in Korea when there are threats of war. We are living in a crazy time, so just stay safe out there, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.